when I'm taking pictures of people, I always tell them one thing. If I'm not saying anything, you're doing amazing. If I have any directions, I'll tell you. But then just be yourself. I think Marvin is a seasoned vet, bro. Like I was saying to him, like he's done it so many times, takes instructions fairly easy, understands, communication is there. And I feel like even the poses that I, you know, caught him in were very natural to him, you know. So yeah, it was fairly easy. Like there wasn't any um, difficult aspects in terms of like just capturing him. It was just smooth sailing. I mean, the initial direction, I think when Lucas hit me up, you know, telling me about this project that he feel like I'll be very suited for, the idea of well, the word that was thrown about was vintage, and I quite like to see myself in that space. I feel like even though I capture things in a digital way, I always try to make them feel, you know, very analog sort of thing. So I feel like just from the offset, it was that. But then I feel like the hidden message between that is just longevity sort of thing, you know, like something that is vintage. I feel like we now associate it with something that is very strong and something that would last, essentially. So I feel the visual direction is something that, you know, would last in people's minds, you know, an image that would be timeless, essentially. I mean, a couple of references were sent, and we don't. Do you have one of them here? Yes, we have one of them here. This particular reference, and I think looking at this, in a sense, I think one of the standout things for me, or like one of the things that I really even like, you know, to, you know, have is just the text, the focus on text. I feel like text and imagery coming together like that, you know, really sort of like aligned. So this was sort of like sent over to me, and I sort of like looked at other artworks within the sort of like same field, within the same time, across the genre, in a sense, to sort of like just get an idea. And I think what stood out to me was just the text, the color, and then the space. Mood board. So we are paying homage to Jimmy Cliff with this one, you know, Life is Good. I asked myself some questions, especially with this one. Listening to the song and just trying to come up with like a cover for this particular project is like, what makes life good? The people, the surroundings, or peace in the chaos, you know? So I think one of the key things that I realized that, you know, anything peaceful in my mind or anything peaceful around me has to do with the color blue. Water represents calmness, represents everything that is good. Water is life, life is good. You feel me? I think honestly, you know, I was telling Lucas that, you know, I'd like this project was really exciting for me because for me it was an opportunity to try a different process that I've been trying to just incorporate with how I relate with the people that I shoot with, especially artists. Getting a better sort of like understanding of who they are and why the project is, you know, coming into being. So I had arranged to meet up with Marvin, and I think our first meeting off the bat, I saw the long dress. So I was just like, you look mad familiar. Turns out I had met him, I think sometime I front back with Kwame. That's one of his close friends as well. So yeah, meeting him again in that space sort of like felt like a full circle moment for me personally. A lot of the people that I take pictures of that, you know, I really love, like that's literally how we've met. You know, we've met in some others, you know, social sort of like circle, but then for us to work together, for me, like I really, you know, enjoy sort of that transition from meeting and then now sort of like collaborating and working on a project that, you know, would hold meaning, not just for now, but for like eternity, essentially. So yeah, met up with Marvin, had a great chat with him. But I think the next meetup was, you know, a very interesting one for me, because that was when we sort of like decided the outfits and whatnot. And for me, I'm of the perspective that things don't have to be difficult. You know, you can make do with what you have. So I told him, yo, just let's go in your closet, let's see what you got. You know, what do you feel comfortable in? What best describes the mood of what we're trying to, you know, create, in a sense. Let's try to, you know, make some sense of it. You know, so I think together we did, you know, the styling for it as well. And, you know, his involvement in it, to me, was very important. And then, you know, adding to my process as well, it makes me understand who he is and why he's making the music. And that translates in, you know, just how I, in a sense, would capture him, you know, or like the ideas that I would have, you know, to capture him in, or the space I would have to capture him in. The last part of the process, which was that I'm telling you about, which was actually the first part for me, was the location. I think this location, you know, I was listening to the music before, right? And the day before, I was just like, nah, there's this really, really dope location I have in mind. I haven't taken pictures there in a long time. I feel like that location would work. And the very next day, I took myself out there, and it actually started raining on that day. Showers of blessings, something like that. And yeah, just being in that space, I was able to just conceptualize more where Marvin could be, the kind of imagery that we could take to represent, you know, different aspects or different songs, you know, for the covers that we're going to be creating, in a sense. So I feel like, yeah, this process was very intensive and intentional for me as well. Marvin sharing his story with me, his life story. Boy, it's, I don't know, it's something that for me, I find myself thinking about a lot, you know. It's Marvin's story, so you have to get in touch with Marvin for him to tell you the story, or listen to the music. But yeah, I'm getting a bit emotional right now, but I feel like, yeah, his life story was very impactful for me personally. He has overcome a lot of things, you know. And in light of that, it makes me grateful and also fills me with hope. I think for me, this is more than a job, you know. This is me doing something to help my brother's legacy, you know, to solidify him in, you know, this space, to let him know that whatever he's after, he already has. Simple.